no London, no Germany, no Brazil. First, the schedule tracker started moving. Then, the Cowboys opener leaked. And then, the one that changes everything. The Giants are staying home. By the end of this video, you'll know whether Big Blue caught a real competitive break. Lock in. Breaking news from the schedule room, Giants fans. The NFL made a call that sounds quiet at first, but it hits different once you connect it to rest, travel, rhythm, and the NFC East grind. The New York Giants are not scheduled to play an international game in 2026. That means no overseas trip, no weird travel week, no neutral site routine, no London, no Germany, no Brazil. Real talk before we dive in. Eagles fans love acting like they own the division conversation. Cowboys fans think every schedule release is their coronation. Commanders fans are suddenly loud again. If you want a channel built by Big Blue, for Big Blue, hit subscribe right now. Every sub is a flag planted for the G-Men. Comment, "Let's go Giants," and make the rivals feel it. Now let's get to story one, because the first clue is not the international news. The first clue is the schedule machine itself. Here is where most people miss it. The full schedule release creates noise, but the early leaks and trackers create the real battlefield. Before the whole picture arrives, little pieces start sliding out, and every fanbase starts trying to decode what the league is really saying. For Big Blue, that matters. The Giants are not just waiting for a list of opponents. They are waiting for the shape of the season. Home stretches, road stretches, division placement, travel rhythm, spotlight games, recovery windows. Those details decide whether a team gets breathing room or gets dragged into chaos before it finds its footing. And for a Giants team trying to build consistency, that rhythm is everything. Jaxson Dart is the starting quarterback. That matters because a starting quarterback needs routine, not circus conditions. A locker room trying to stabilize needs structure, not disruption. A team trying to stack good weeks needs fewer weird variables, not more. Schedule leaks are not just gossip. They are clues. They tell you where the league is putting pressure. They tell you which matchups are being framed as statement games. They tell you whether a team is being handed a clean runway or thrown into a blender. And with Big Blue, every detail hits harder because the division gives you no soft landing. The Eagles are never quiet. The Cowboys are always in the spotlight. The Commanders are trying to force their way into the conversation. That is the neighborhood. That is the fight. So when the tracker starts moving, Giants fans should not shrug. They should study it. Here is the truth nobody's telling you. Schedule structure is a roster issue. If your team is young in key places, if your quarterback is trying to command the whole operation, if the staff is trying to build week-to-week stability, then the calendar becomes part of the football plan. That is the difference between watching any channel and watching this one. Personal opinion here. I think Giants fans should treat the schedule release like a real competitive event, not off-season filler. The full schedule shapes rest, routine, and division pressure, and this team cannot afford wasted preparation. Disagree? Drop your reasoning below. Because this is not just about who the Giants play. It is about when they play them. And that takes us straight into story 2, because the first major reported leak is not random. It is Cowboys. It is MetLife Stadium. It is Week 1. Now, what most channels miss is this. A reported Week 1 home opener against the Cowboys is not just a big brand matchup. It is a tone setter for the entire Big Blue season. The report says the Giants are expected to open at home against Dallas. That means MetLife Stadium gets the first swing. Big Blue Nation gets the first roar. The Cowboys walk into New York before the season has a chance to settle into normal rhythm. I love that setup. Not because Dallas is easy. They are not. Not because Week 1 decides everything. It does not. I love it because it tells the locker room immediately what kind of year this is. No hiding. No easing in. No soft narrative. You open with a rival, at home, with your starting quarterback Jaxson Dart under the lights of expectation, and you find out fast who is ready for the moment. That is New York tough. And there is another layer here. If the Giants are trying to build consistency, starting at home matters. The routine is normal. The building is yours. The fan base is yours. The noise is yours. The pressure is yours too. But that is the deal when you wear Giants blue. This is where the Cowboys angle matters. Dallas brings attention wherever it goes. That means the opener becomes a national conversation even without an international stage. The Giants get rivalry heat, headline energy, and a measuring stick game without having to leave the country. That is a win. And connect it back to the tracker. When leaks point toward a Cowboys opener, and the international slate leaves the Giants off, you start seeing the outline. Big Blue gets a huge rivalry platform. but avoids the overseas disruption that several other teams have to absorb. That is not small. That is schedule leverage. I'll say it, and I know Cowboys fans will hate this. In my opinion, opening at MetLife against Dallas is the best possible emotional launch for this Giants team. Not the easiest, the best. If Big Blue wants respect, take the first punch at home and answer it. Tell me I'm wrong. Now I want your take. Comment advantage if you think the Cowboys opener helps the Giants. Comment trap if you think it puts too much pressure on Big Blue right away. No middle ground. Make me defend my position. Quick reminder, if you are still here, you are Big Blue. Hit subscribe, because story 3 is the real schedule break. And now we get to the one I teased at the start. The Cowboys opener is loud. The tracker is useful. But the international decision, that is the bomb. Because while other teams are being sent overseas, the Giants are staying stateside. And that changes the whole read. Now, this is what you really came for. The story that flips the schedule conversation is not about glamour. It is not about jersey sales in another country. It is not about a postcard from London or Germany or Brazil. It is about competitive control. The NFL's schedule decision is clear. The New York Giants are not scheduled to play an international game in 2026. No London, no Germany, no Brazil, no international trip. That means Big Blue stays stateside while several other teams deal with overseas travel, altered routines, long flights, and all the adjustment that comes with taking an NFL week out of its normal environment. And I know the first reaction. Some fans hear that and think, did the Giants miss out on spotlight? I get it. International games bring branding. They bring a global audience. They bring a different kind of attention. For a franchise like the Giants, one of the biggest names in the sport, the international stage always feels natural. But here is the football truth. Attention does not block pass rushers. Branding does not help your quarterback stay in rhythm. Global exposure does not make a short week cleaner, a travel plan easier, or a locker room fresher. Rest matters. Routine matters. Preparation matters. And for a team trying to build consistency, avoiding overseas travel is not a footnote. It is a real advantage. Think about the practical side. The Giants do not have to adjust their entire operation for an international week. They do not have to build around a flight across the world. They do not have to deal with the strange rhythm that comes with being the league's global showcase for that window. They just play football. That sounds simple. It is powerful. Because the Giants are in a division where the margins are never comfortable. The Eagles want every edge. The Cowboys get constant attention. The Commanders are fighting for oxygen. In that kind of environment, not losing a week to travel chaos is meaningful. Now connect this to the first two stories. The schedule tracker tells us every detail matters. The reported Week 1 home opener against the Cowboys gives the Giants a major domestic spotlight game right away. And now the international decision gives them something even better than a flashy trip, a cleaner season structure. That is the real picture. Big Blue gets rivalry attention without the overseas tax. The Giants get a home opener against Dallas, according to the report, and they avoid the international disruption entirely. That combination is exactly the kind of schedule development fans should care about. This is not about fear. This is about focus. Jaxson Dart is the current starting quarterback, and the best thing the schedule can give a starting quarterback is rhythm. Same building routines, normal preparation cycles, fewer external distractions, less theatrical nonsense, more football. That is how you grow. That is how you stabilize. That is how you give your locker room a real chance to stack weeks. And here is the part rival fans will pretend not to understand. If the Eagles were left home while the Giants got sent overseas, they would call it an edge. If the Cowboys avoided the travel while Big Blue had to cross the ocean, Dallas media would call it smart scheduling. If the Commanders got the cleaner path, their fans would celebrate it for a week. So no, Giants fans should not apologize for this. Take the break. Use the break. Turn the break into wins. I'm going on record right now. In my opinion, this is the most underrated Giants schedule development of the entire release cycle. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, the most useful. A team trying to build consistency just avoided one of the biggest routine disruptions in the league. Convince me I'm wrong. And now you have your answer to the question I asked earlier. Comment your pick. Advantage if this helps Big Blue, or trap if you think the opener pressure cancels it out. If this analysis hit, like the video. That is how we keep the algorithm pushing real Giants breakdowns instead of lazy national noise. 3 stories. 1 picture. The schedule tracker matters because it shows the season taking shape before the final public conversation catches up. The reported Cowboys opener matters because it gives the Giants a rivalry test at MetLife Stadium right out of the gate. The international omission matters because it protects rest, routine, and preparation. Together, they point to one thing. The Giants are not being buried under unnecessary travel chaos. They are getting a cleaner runway. That does not guarantee anything. Big Blue still has to earn it. Jaxson Dart still has to lead it. The staff still has to manage the pressure. The roster still has to turn preparation into production. But I will always take a clean football environment over a flashy travel headline. The Eagles can chase noise. The Cowboys can chase cameras. The Commanders can chase relevance. The G-men need rhythm. That is the mission. And this schedule development helps that mission. Listen closely, because the next breakdown is where we take this another level. I am going to map what the reported Week 1 Cowboys opener means for Jaxson Dart, the offensive rhythm, and the pressure inside MetLife Stadium. If you are Big Blue for real, you need that video, because national shows will turn this into Cowboys content by default. Not here. This is Giants Daily. Subscribe now, hit the bell, and make sure YouTube actually brings that breakdown to you. Big Blue Nation does not wait for permission from Eagles fans, Cowboys fans, or Commanders fans. Drop your final answer below, advantage or trap. I want to see where the real ones stand. But listen closely. One major decision is still hanging over the entire conversation. How the full schedule stacks the pressure after that reported Cowboys opener. The order matters. The travel pockets matter. The division spacing matters. The league can give you a clean start, then squeeze you later. That is what we are watching next. And the rivals are watching too. The Eagles want the cleanest path. The Cowboys want the spotlight. The Commanders want proof they belong. The Giants need to turn structure into momentum before anyone else in the NFC East settles in. That is the fight. No international trip means no excuse. A reported home opener means no hiding. Big Blue, the battle is here. Subscribe, stay locked, and let's go Giants. We ride together.